Hello, beautiful people. My name is Tim Lee. Welcome to Draw Too Much, another sketch lesson here. Actually, today we're going to do a critique. I'm going to talk about a piece that came into my email. If you want me to critique your work, you're welcome to send it to me. Send it to me at drawmetim@gmail.com. Would love to get your artwork to critique. I'm happy to do it. Just to let you know, if you're interested in a little bit more hands-on, one-on-one critiques with me, then you can check out my Patreon. And my patrons will obviously get the first dibs, and even me chatting with you live. We can talk about it on our live streams that we do here and there. And I would greatly appreciate it if you consider becoming a patron and allow me some time to be one-on-one with you and talk about some artwork with you. Let's go ahead and take a look at this critique, though. Now, let me say that first off, I do think that the color of this piece is very, very good. I love the hair color. The hair looks great. I love the different tones in the hair and stuff. I love the gradienting that goes through it, and I feel like there's a little bit that can be done that can improve it a little bit. Let's talk about some of the things first on the actual drawing itself, and then we'll go over and we'll put it to the test a little bit. In my opinion, and now please understand, I try to be as kind a critiquer as possible. I try to critique on a couple of negatives, and I try to talk a lot about the positive sides. So you're gonna hear all sides of the spectrum as we talk about this. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a red pencil here so I can draw over top, and let's just look over the general design of the character. I love the design coming all the way through here. I dig this gradient of the yellow to the green through here. I like how the hair has this really great gradient going through here. I think that looks really good. Up here too, the gradient that's going that way looks really nice. And then the gradients kind of stop a little bit. And that, I mean, you don't have to have gradients, but here you put all the gradients in other places, but I'm not seeing gradients in the gun, which guns are going to be very metallic. So you want to have heavy gradients of reflectiveness in those, in the same way of my eyes and how they reflect light and things. You want some of these metallics that are in the gun to reflect. Obviously, you got this leg going on here that has a whole bunch of metal on it, so you might want to push that a little bit and make that a bit more contrasty. And that just means that you're going to put darker tones on the outsides here, and you're going to sharpen up the highlight tones that are going to be on this. And then also, if these are individual panels, just like you did this, and you put a little bit of shading here to show that this was standing off, you should probably also do that in these areas as well. Okay, so when it comes to the color, it's very, very good. I love the color choices that you made. Excellent. I think the area that needs the most help is the character design and the character balance. Okay, so two things come into play here. Is understanding your structure. Okay, let me show you what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and drop my opacity here a little bit. I'm going to drop a layer in the background here. And let's go ahead and pop in just some white in the background here, so it just drops it down a little bit. And then let's go ahead and draw over top a little. First thing you got to do is understand structure a little bit, and structure is really going to help you make some better decisions in how you want to do things. First off, this face is really smushed in here, and I understand we're going for a bit of an anime look, but let's consider how the body's looking with this at the moment. Let's just draw an under sketch of the body right now. So here is the chest and trunk area here. Okay, coming down, we got it leading to the hip area here. All right, so far so good. Here comes the head and neck area here. All right, let's go ahead and take the shoulders off. And I'm drawing this roughly to try to be a bit more correct on the design, okay? So if we put the arm coming here to the bottom of the ribs, okay, arm coming here to the bottom of the ribs, then you adjust the arm angle for your hand, keeping that line and that line roughly about the same size. That means that the hand's going to have to come forward a bit more. This hand, if you want that to go down, same size here to here. Okay, oh, I'm sorry, there we go. I know I'm trying to make sure you guys can see this. And then that hand is going to be face down. So let's try and think about it being face down. Hand obviously is very large, so we'll look at that in a second. Then we go down to the legs here. So the first leg is going to start this way, and it's going to come down here, and we're going to go ahead and put the first knee here, and then this leg choop to choop, so about right there. So you did fairly decent on this leg. I don't see a knee area. I'm assuming that this is going on the upper calf, and then will lead to that. So we'll go ahead and quickly just draw in the shape of the leg here. Roughly got the size correct, but it'll be nice to give a little bit more definition to this leg. So to go ahead and apply in Just very, very general muscle structure here. It's not going to be perfect. I'm not saying that my anatomy is any good. My anatomy is actually terrible. I focus on faces, which I'm interested to talk a little bit about this face. Now we take this leg size and we bring it over to here as well, which means that the knee's going to have to come down quite a bit more instead of this, because from here she's got a very small knee and a very, very incredibly long leg. Now with this line here and this line here, her foot's basically going to stop behind her other leg here. If you're trying to keep that balance, by the way, I'm sick. I'm trying to heal up from being sick. So you're going to hear me coughing a little bit in this, and I apologize. Let's go ahead now and build up a little bit of this leg design here. Just a little bit. Like I said, my anatomy skills are subpar as well, but at least I know a little bit of the measurements and things. So already we're seeing a couple tiny conflicts here in the design. They're not terrible, but definitely little things to be worked on. And if I hide her form and I show you my form, you'll see that it's much more clean. There's more balance to it. It feels more straight up and down, and there's structure behind it. Now, this is still not covering another important aspect, and that's perspective. If we bring up your design and we hide my design, okay, let me go back in here. We'll hide my design. There's a perspective that you've got structured here. Because these legs are so far apart, let me show you what I mean here. Because this leg is way back here and this leg is way down here, you're trying to say that there is a space that this person is sitting in. And so that means that there needs to be a horizon line somewhere. There needs to be a rule of an infinity rule going on here. So depending on where this horizon is, say it's here, and you were to go like this, and you were to build your triangles off like this, then you would have some really insane perspective here. And I'll show you what I mean. And I'm doing a terrible job with these perspective grids. Let me show you what I mean. Look up the infinity rules for drawing and drawing in perspective and in form. You'd be surprised on how intense some of this stuff can get. So if we kind of just put another box here, kind of, and then we do another set. And I'm not great at this by any means either, but the knowledge is important to have. If you understand the knowledge of it, then you can begin working on the structuring. All right, let's go ahead and hide our character here a bit more, but we're just going to keep her here. So if you're going to put one foot here and another foot here, first off, this foot has to sit on this land this right way. This one does as well. And then you have to design within this box here, roughly. And like I said, I'm not perfect at this. But you basically need to design your character like this, which means when it comes to her head and her shoulders, she's going to be working off of this plane. So that means you're going to be seeing the bottom of her chin here like this. And you're going to be seeing her shoulders on this plane. You're going to be seeing her waist and her design on this plane. Then her leg is going to be on this plane to then come back to meet this one, and then this one's going to come down here to meet that one. And so you can see if I have a line through the shoulders, through the waist, through the feet themselves where they go, then everything is going to take on a completely different shape and form than the original piece, if we base it off of the legs that are on this original piece. Now, if we look at it with the design that you and I have just done here by tracing over yours a little bit, we have basically removed most perspective. This camera is camera facing straight on, pretty much, and the person's body is just turned a little bit. Much less dynamic. So using perspective and building that perspective is very helpful, but you have to learn those dynamics. And it's confusing as all get out, but necessary to say the least. Okay, we've covered the basics of structure now. My character looks like they're standing, they're not going to fall over, and they're also going to sit in a form of some kind of proper space, where your character at this moment in time, her feet look like she's standing in one plane on one dynamic range, and then her body looks like it's facing a camera that's straight on like you and I are looking at each other right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at a couple other things. I think I've gotten that point across pretty well. Like I said, once again, the art is pretty cool. I think the design's cool. Now you just need to work on the structure and things like that a little bit. All right, let's talk about the face a little bit. Let's go ahead and minimize these and take a look at the face. I see anime. I definitely see anime design here. Nothing wrong with that. Anime's cool. I think it's great if you come up with your own style. Try to escape the anime. Anime back in my day, anime was very very popular. It's not as popular as it used to be. Usually you'd see kids coming out of the woodwork trying to learn every kind. I drew so many Pokemon. I can't even. I mean seriously. So when it comes down to it, trying to come up with your own design, your own feeling of a character is great. Which you've begun this process, but I'm seeing some defects here, just a little bit. Let's go ahead and show you what I mean. Let's go ahead and just stay on the face here. We're going to go ahead and minimize this. Let's think about normal facial structure. But we'll use the anime form. We'll use the anime structure idea. All right, let's go ahead and start with the head. I'm going to go ahead and just draw a circle. Okay, and we're going to build the chin off of the circle. So here's the chin. And animes usually have very sharp chins, per se, roughly. It's a very generic statement, but it's somewhat true. And then we'll put the eye line for the eyes. The nose usually sits directly beneath the eyes, and the mouth sits usually fairly calmly right below there. Now looking at the instant change of this, you can see that head in comparison to my design. Let's go ahead and throw some eyes on here. And I'm not incredibly skilled at anime. It's been a very long time since I've messed with it. I had a... If you guys want to hear my anime story, let me know in the comments below, and we'll take some time to talk about that. But I learned. I had a life lesson that actually was very difficult for me to hear that told me why it would be good to escape from drawing anime, which I did. So let's go ahead here and just draw in some very quick anime eyes. By the way, if you want, add some pinpoint lighting in here so that it makes her come alive. Your character, at this moment in time, if I was to minimize this and blow this up, there's no white in the eyes. Check what happens if I quickly add just 2 dots of white in the eyes. Instant life. There's life in that character just by adding 2 little dots of white. That's highlight point, and that's very, very positive thing to have in design. So let's go ahead and go back here now. Minimize this a little bit more. Okay, so we got this design going on. I think I see some eyebrow design in yours, which is great. So let me go ahead and grab my red here again and go back to this, and we'll go ahead and draw that in. I'm not trying to get an expression. I'm not trying to get a feeling of any kind of anger or frustration. I'm just doing very generic art structuring right now, okay? The nose usually for most anime characters is going to sit directly below the eyes, like on the bottom plane of those eyes for the most part, and less is so much more when it comes to anime. Whoops. Let me make my eraser a lot smaller here and try and erase a couple of my lines here, and just less is a lot more, believe it or not. So even just keeping it as simple as that. And then with the grill work, with this interesting looking grill work that you got here, then go ahead and put your grill work on there. Now it looks like you got it going over the nose as part of the nose. Now if I did that here, I'd have the grill work coming up and overlapping the nose, kind of like that. So that means that in the design here, you want to create that grill work to come up and over the nose like this. And then you have it going down to the very bottom of her chin. So we can do that same thing here. And then you can go ahead and do your freaky design. Now remember that the face wraps. It wraps around. So make sure as you're doing your design, thinking about wrapping those teeth around that design. So let's go ahead and get it a little bit closer because you got it pretty close to that nose. And then you can start rendering out how you want those teeth to go. Okay, and I'm not trying to be perfect at this by any means, and actually I'm doing the reverse of probably what your design has. Yeah, I'm giving her weird gaping teeth, which I didn't mean to do. So yours is more like this, where it's more ghoulish. There we go. Now, I don't know if this is based off of a real character that's on an anime or anything like that, but like I said, the design is very interesting. You got a great looking character. Now you just need to build up the design chops to put that into effect, okay? And close off the sides of the mouth, and there we go. Now, focusing on everything that I've said so far, now we have a character that's supposed to be sitting in an environment. So now we're talking about perspective. We have a character now that is more balanced. We've gotten her anatomy more correct in lines of what length is to what length, making sure legs and arms are the correct size. We've gotten the head now in a better proportion as well. But now remember that the face is turned sideways. If we look at the initial design here, we see this head facing towards us here. Let me pull out this pencil again. So the head is kind of rotated this way, which is fine. That's good. So you're getting a bit of a 3/4 perspective, but these things here are sitting facing towards us. They're coming right at us. So what you want to do instead is you want to take that design and you want to manipulate it to the side of the face, okay? So instead of that initial design like that, now we're going to go ahead and take these and we're going to apply them to the sides of the head. So this one's going to be here. And since the face is turning away from us a little bit, this one, once my computer gets done freezing, is going to sit behind that head point there, okay? Like that. So that way you're building up structure. The whole face, the whole form is all turning with this face now. And then your hair is going to start on the top of the scalp and come down to however long you want it to be. And overlap each other as you did. And you did some overlapping, but there's not as much structure. You can actually put structuring in the overlapping where they look more, instead of flat, you can give them shape and form as you stack them. And this is a very scary looking female character, so you may as well build that with that stacking of the hair. Okay? I think I've covered an awful lot. I don't know how long I've been recording, but I feel like I've covered a lot in this. I think with the different little topics that we've had with these two designs, I think that's really going to help your character in itself, okay? I think with those two little suggestions, you could make a major difference to this piece just with those two. You've got a great theory of a character. You've got a great bunch of color. Your coloring is great, and it would look amazing on a cleaner, well-built character. And you've really started something good. Keep it going. Learn your structuring now. I'm not saying learn every muscle group in the human body, but learn your structuring, and then once you've learned the structure, then you're going to make something really, really cool on top of the already good piece that you got. I'm saying take it and push it further. Your piece is great as a study piece. If you want it to be something that other people love, you need to learn the structure underneath. You need to learn what is going to affect what. Learn to draw, not in shapes, but in objects. When I draw when I draw this spherical center here, or the trunk of the body, this right here, I'm using this to understand where the body is going to push and pull and flex, and things are going to fit over top of that. Same as we did with the hair on the scalp. The scalp is here, so I'm not going to draw the hair below that line. I'm going to draw it on top and have it sit rounding around that form, because I'm not on a piece of paper. In real life, I'm made of many different shaped objects, and that's the important thing. Think in 3D as you draw. Don't think in 2D. Think in 3D. It's challenging because you're drawing on a 2D piece of paper, but when you can take a 3D form and you can draw it off of a 2D piece of paper, you're doing something right. You got some great looking stuff here. Let me quickly talk about this hand over here on this side, and I think I'm going to end on this note, okay? So when we look at your character design here and we look at this, you got the structure here, but I don't actually see a hand in here, because the pinky over here is the same size as the thumb. So I don't really see a structure of the hand here. I totally understand that you want to make it bigger than the rest of the body. Totally cool. So let's go ahead and quickly try and mess with this a little bit and see if we can create that same effect. But at the same time, let's put the hand in a better perspective. Perspective, unfortunately, does play a very key role. So let's come back here to, you know what, I'm not using that other drawing page like I was planning on doing. So we're just going to go ahead and just blow this up here so you guys can see this full. There we go. So let's go ahead now and grab my layer where I was drawing this. I'm going to erase this hand. Okay, and it's really great to start off the hand with a box form, a 3D box form. So let's go ahead and take this idea into perspective. So this arm's coming down here. Okay, making sure that my tools are working right. There we go. And then let's go ahead and take the hand instead, and let's turn it to the side just a little bit, okay? So the box form now is going to be a bit more like this. The thumb is going to come off of this form here, and the fingers are going to come off this form here. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 fingers are going to come off of here. Now, we can exaggerate this as much as we want. All I need to do is take this shape and just think large. So if I just take this shape here, digital is a wonderful thing, and then I can expand that form as much as I want to make the hand even more intense. Now we can start drawing our shaping over that. So if I was to minimize my own design, and sometimes what helps me is I'll use a different color so I can see what I'm doing off of my original concepts. Then start drawing your shaping for your different elements. So here's your thumb section, and then build your hand off of the top here. So right here is the first finger, and you have, it looks like 2 joints, and then the third joint is actually the sharpened edge of the blade. Now, as we do this, following your concept, we need to make sure that we're following the form of this shape here. So the fingers are going to roll inward. Think about everything like tubes. Okay, so here's your box right here, and all you're doing is you're drawing a tube. Let me rewind back here and show you this. I know this is the world's longest video in critique, and I apologize about that. So here we're going to build up the tube shapes. So here's the first tube coming off of here. We're going to bring it out towards us. Okay, and this is going to be for the thumb. Kind of like this. Here is this box that we've drawn here. So the second tube is going to be here, third here, fourth here, and fifth on the end there. And then you build the tubes off of those. Okay? So here's a tube. Here's a tube. And I'm going to adjust this one just to make it a little bit more dynamic. We're going to make that tube down a little bit more. And then finally the pinky, we're going to go ahead and take that tube a little bit more off the bottom, okay? And then with these now, since you have, I'm just gonna go ahead and make these the needles themselves, the nails themselves. So you got 1, 2, and the next nail is going to be 3, and the final nail will be 4, and we're going to bend that one down a little bit, okay? Now, this design looks very cloth-like, so try to think, when you're doing this design, to think in cloth form, you know, like it looks like a draping cloth that you have going on here. So we'll apply some of that draping cloth design in some of the elements of this. Okay, kind of like an overly large glove, as from what the design looks like at least. And then take it back. Obviously, it's going above the point of the elbow. So if I draw the arm here, here's the arm coming back to the elbow joint. And I'm not doing a very good job at that because that is, we're pulling perspective forward. We're really putting the hand out in front here because we're, excuse me, because we're making it so large. We're pulling it out and forward just like this, the perspective push. So then we'll take out that design and take it above that fold. We're going to have to create some creases. Whoops. Have to create some creases here in the elbow to do that, to accomplish that. And then once you have that, then you can put your ring design on here that hooks it to her normal shoulder. And her shoulder is going to go up quite a bit higher if you're doing the perspective properly, built off the body structure that I'm building here. It looks a little rough, so let me go ahead and do one more pass on it just to see if we can make something that looks a little bit more correct, and see if we can make this look actually like a drawing here, so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. Now, obviously, it would take me a long time to really do this drawing to the extent that I am suggesting, and this video has gone on far too long already, considering that we try to keep our videos down to 10 minutes. So, long story short, here's the design. Here's the cloth that we're trying to kind of manipulate around the lower arm. We're going to put folds in here to make this look like it's folding around the inner elbow to lead up to this ringlet on the arm. Okay, because you're using mainly cloth here. If that's supposed to be metal or whatever, then I would rethink some of those surfaces or whatever. But then you can build the fingers off of here, kind of like this. Okay, we're going to go ahead and drape that in there, kind of like that. And then the big red nails coming off of here. And then you're going to do your designs off of that. So anyway, I think you're getting what I'm saying here. You're picking up what I'm putting down, right? I'm pretty sure we're on the same wavelength here. So keeping all this stuff on the same plane as much as possible. Here we go. Here's the third. Making sure that we're rounding inward for this design, so that the perspective is pointing. Oh, how do I even explain it? I need more time to explain this to you guys. But if you have any questions at all, please put them in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them as well as I can as we move forward. And please don't forget that I am critiquing a lot here. This is a great piece for this person's abilities in art. I think that we all have a lot to learn, and I have a lot to learn even as I'm doing this demonstration. I am sure that I could do so much more that I need to learn to properly do this better and to teach this to you guys. Anatomy is not my first love at all. The face is, and that's why I can put so much attention on drawing the face. But when it comes to the body I need to learn more about. But you can see that this structuring here feels much better now. If I was to turn off this background layer, look at the character design that we have going on now, and look at how dynamic this hand is. There's a lot more structuring in that hand. And then focus, and this is still not really putting dynamics into the body. The body's just standing there. So if you can put this person in something more dynamic, think dynamically, take a camera, stand in front of a mirror, and get this kind of thought in your head of the dynamics of working with this stuff, and make it something where there's action and not just them floating in space going, I'm here, you know. It's going to make it look a lot better, and it's going to keep pushing you forward as a better artist. The design is great. I think that you got something cool here. I love the colors. You are going to be amazing. As you continue to improve, you're going to be amazing at doing great color. I think that you've already started with something beautiful. You know how to use your markers. That's awesome. You're going to be fantastic at coloring, and you already are. I love this yellow to green look here. Keep that stuff going on. You're going to rock it, and just keep practicing, and I hope that I've helped you, and please, you've done great. Anyone who can draw at this level has a bright future ahead of them. Just keep doing it. Just keep going. Just keep practicing. And any negativity that you hear, anybody critiquing you, please remember they're just trying to help guide you in the right direction so that you can continue to make the good decisions that help you become an even better artist. That way, one day when someone sees your stuff on a website, on Facebook, on any social media, or in a museum or whatever, one day they're going to go, wow, that's really great and so much better than everybody else because you took the time to practice. World's longest video, but I do hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget, you can send me your drawings. I'd love to get them at drawmetim@gmail.com. And don't forget to also join our Facebook page and actually just look up Draw Too Much Artists Anonymous. Look that up and join our Facebook group. We'll accept you as quickly as we can and share your artwork on there. That's going to do it for me. I got stuff to do. I'm sick today. I need to go rest and relax and go do some other work. God bless you guys. We'll see you next time right here on another Draw Too Much sketch lesson. We have lots more caricature stuff coming up. I got videos sitting already ready to go up, but I wanted to go ahead and put this out there so that you can... I promise I'm going to have it up on Friday and Saturday, so I'm already a day late. Enjoy. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the like button if you did. I'm talking too much. I'm out of here. See you guys. Bye.